Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Aaron Cooney. Episode 126 here at you, and we just got done talking about men's soccer and their playoff position. Now we're going to switch over to the women's soccer side, as they're also eligible for contention, even though a little bit of skid that they're in. We'll go ahead and recap the week that they had just last week. First game out of conference, playing Division II Seton Hill. Tough for Point Park, very close match early on. End up losing that one 1-0. A goal for Seton Hill by Brenna O'Leary in the 55th minute. Point Park was outshot 16-8. Only one real good chance from Christina Stammer. A huge shot coming off the crossbar in the second half, but Point Park was unable to get any closer than that. They would take that same New York trip with the men this past Friday, visiting Houghton, the number 15 team in the country at the time, 12-2 on the season. After that win, Houghton goes up 5-0. They would Point Park just unable to get anything down. They would fall to 4-9, and then Saturday at Roberts Wesleyan, lose 6-1. This game was tied up early on. Roberts would break the tie just before the half to go up 2-1, and then in the second half, 3 goals in 8 minutes, and then to bring it to 5-1, finish up 6-1. Point Park just unable to get anything to work out for them. Christina Stammer again, the lone goal for the Pioneers, and Point Park just finds themselves reeling right now. We're going to bring in analyst Kelly Reed. And Kelly, 5-game losing streak after that hot start in the AMC. They were winning 4 in a row. Most AMC games they've won in program history, and now all of a sudden just drop off. What happened?
Yeah, it almost seems like they're digging themselves a hole right now. 5-game losing streak, that's just bad right now. But it's the same thing like I've been saying all year. Their offense isn't there. Their defense is now lacking. It's almost weaker than I thought it was at first. So there's something that's going on that we're not seeing, actually.
Yeah, outscored 19-4 right now on this 5-game losing streak. And you take a look at their schedule. I mean, it's a tough schedule in all the conference games, with Houghton being number 15. They actually just lost to Damon. Damon at the top of your standings now. But just a tough schedule for the Pioneers, and it seems that they've just found themselves in trouble.
Yeah, they had that percentage of 735 of winning against Point Park right now. And the one team that really hit their stats up was Fisher, and that's the game that we all said, this could be a new Point Park team. And after that game, it seemed like almost it wasn't the case at all, and they just went into this really bad losing streak here. And with these upcoming games, we really don't know what to expect from this team. It's
been really all over the place, as you've mentioned, and we've talked about both sides of the ball, praising them, and then now looking down on them. And want to bring up the AMC standings, because even though with this 5-game winning streak, Point Park's still eligible for playoff contention. And we'll take a look, and you see Damon at the top, Houghton number 2, just after, as I mentioned, Damon knocking off Houghton. Walsh is ineligible for postseason play. Roberts Wesleyan 4, Point Park 5. So if you remove Walsh, Point Park jumps up to the 4 spot, with Carlo trailing behind him by only 3 points. So that's going to be the matchup to watch here as we go down the road. Point Park's remaining schedule, as they're 3-5 in the AMC. 10-18, they are at Walsh. And then that's 22nd, home against Damon, who they lost to in double overtime. So, a close match there that they could maybe pull off at home. Then the big one that will probably have the most playoff implications at Carlo on the 25th. And then 28th, Roberts Wesleyan will come and visit once again. And Carlo's similar thing, and they're going to try and leapfrog Point Park. They got 4 games on their slate to try and jump in the schedule and take hold of that 4th spot. They're at Houghton on the 19th, against Damon at home on the 21st, Point Park at home on the 25th, and then Walsh at home on the 31st. And Kelly, Carlo, Point Park, they're the 2 teams that you sometimes see at the bottom of the standings, but in contention here.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost a surprise that we see them in contention, but you know what? I do see them passing Carlo, and I do see them getting that 4th spot. However, I don't see them going much farther than that in the playoffs. Probably not past the first round, in my opinion.
It'd definitely be a tough matchup they're taking on, Damon Houghton. So you got a ranked team, and then Damon, a team that they played very closely. And Kelly, just looking at this schedule coming up, you're at Walsh, and then versus Damon on Saturday. And I mentioned very close game the last time they came around. They lost in double overtime, 4-3. Right. Is this something that they can turn around and maybe give some of these teams a little bit of scare going into the postseason if they were to make it?
Well, you know, what's going to be a big game is Tuesday's game, and that's going to really set their tone for Saturday's game against Damon, which they will have a chance against winning against them. But if they don't win Tuesday against Walsh, I do see their spirits still down in the dumps. I still see that streak continuing, so it's going to be hard to actually come out of that and beat Damon like they almost did last time.
Kelly, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take another quick commercial break. When we come back, Teresa Davis is going to step on and talk a little bit more volleyball as they're looking to take over the AMC #1 spot here and move on to the postseason with a few games left on their slate. Don't go around. Don't stick. Oh, geez, stick around.